The book of Hebrews starts with, in Hebrews 1 1 and 2, in days gone by, God spoke in many and varied ways to the fathers through the prophets. But now, in the Acharet Hayamim, he has spoken to us through his Son, to whom he has given ownership of everything, and through whom he created the universe. That means that his is the voice we need to listen to. There were many voices in the days of Yeshua. The Essenes said, let's go and live in the desert and do what we want. The Zealot says, let's learn to kill Romans and Jews who collaborate with the Romans. The Pharisee says, let's separate ourselves from the common folks and live in our Torah bubble. The tax collector says, let's collaborate with the Romans and make a financial killing. The publican says, let's party and enjoy life. All the while, the worker, the farmer, the common Israelite didn't know which voice to listen to. The common man, though, we're told, listened to Yeshua's voice because it was different. It wasn't the voice of pride and fear, but the voice of faith and reason, the voice of encouragement. So one day, the prophet like Moshe, the one who like Moshe had brought bread from heaven, the one who like Moshe controlled the water, the same prophet like Moshe climbed the mountain, and like Moshe started to teach the Torah to those discouraged and despondent Jewish people. His voice was different. It was not the voice of pride and rebellion. It was not the voice of discouragement or defeat. It was not the voice of manipulation through fear. He encouraged their hearts with words like, how blessed are the poor in spirit. How blessed are those who mourn. How blessed are the meek. He told them to face persecution with, how blessed are those who are persecuted because they pursue righteousness. He told them, rejoice and be glad. Your reward in heaven is great. He told them to keep their heart clean from hatred and anger. He told them to face injustice with, if someone wants to sue you for your shirt, let him have your coat also. He told them to love and pray for their enemies. He told them that if they do that, they will become children of their Father in heaven. He told them, therefore, be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. His was the voice of stability in the midst of the madness of his day. Today, there are many voices that are shouting for our attention. We need to get rid of the noise and hear his voice and his voice only. There is the voice that shouts, get the vaccine. If you don't get the vaccine, you're going to die a horrible death on a ventilator. This voice instills fear of not getting the vaccine. Then on the other side, you have the voice that screams, don't get the vaccine. If you do, you'll become sterile. You'll have miscarriages. You'll receive a computer chip and become an antenna for 5G technology. It's the Antichrist, the mark of the beast. Thus, instilling fear of getting the vaccine. Both sides can say that the other side only claims unproven speculations. Add to it religious and political parameters, and you have a confusion of noise. Both notions really are unproven, fear-based narratives created to manipulate you to do something or not. Those are contradicting voices of blown up, irrational fear to manipulate you to do something or not. But Yeshua's voice is not the voice of manipulation through fear. I've heard teachings where people compare the vaccine mandates in certain countries to Dr. Death of the Holocaust, the blood libel, the mark of the beast, child abuse, and Pharaoh drowning the Israelite boys. These rationales make claim of dictatorship, presenting basic cautionary inconvenience as tyranny and infringement to freedom. These are nothing more than pure psychological and social manipulation. Me, I hate being manipulated. I hate being manipulated because I'm gullible. So I feel that when people do that to me, they take advantage of my trust. So as soon as someone starts making this very high cliche comparisons with an unrelated subject, really, I turn off. They lost my attention. I'm not a child with whom one needs to use fear technique to make me see reason. Tell me the stuff, let me make my own decision. But for me, the way I see it is that when people feel like they must add all this irrational, this fear technique, all this cliche thing, Holocaust, Antichrist, and all that, that tells me that they're not confident enough in their own substance of their argument without adding all this sauce. It's when people don't have enough substance to their argument that they have to add all this heavy rhetoric. For me, it sounds like somebody inviting me to eat beef stew, and they don't have enough beef. So what they do, they put tofu and a lot of chemical beef flavoring to trick my senses into thinking that they're giving me something that's rich in beef. When all actually they're giving me is tofu and chemicals. Nothing wrong with tofu. That's what people do when they don't have much substance to their argument. They have to add fake stuff. I especially resent people using the Holocaust and Jewish persecution in order to hit the sensitive nerve. People accuse those who want to vaccinate of reacting to fear. I'm vaccinated, both me and my wife are vaccinated, and we did not do it through fear. I resent people telling me I did it through fear. I've traveled to places where TB, leprosy, and malaria and dengue fever are rampant in the streets. I took common sense precautions, but my only refuge in those places was knowing that I followed the marching orders of my commander-in-chief, Yeshua, who was walking before and behind me, as it says in Isaiah 52:12. It's the same today with the COVID vaccine. I did it because Yeshua told me to. I recognized his voice through the noise. And Yeshua's voice is not the voice of proud confidence and spiritual boasting, the voice that affirms that because we are believers, we are impervious to sickness, because he will not allow any of the afflictions of the Egyptians to fall upon us. I know believers who got sick. I know believers who died. Good people. But his is the voice of faith that says, if they eat any poison, it will not hurt them. Now, people didn't go and necessarily eat poison because they wanted to. They were forced to eat poison because somebody gave it to them because they wanted to kill them. But yet, because they were disciples, it did not hurt them. That's what this is talking about. That's the voice of faith. Now, when we do something or don't do something out of fear, it is not his voice. Because as Paul taught Timothy in 2 Timothy 1:7, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and self control. So, the whole point I'm trying to make here is that whether you vaccinate or not, don't do it because of fear in all the pros and the cons of the voices, in the voices around you. But do it or don't do it because you have successfully shut down all these other voices around you, and Yeshua showed you. Personally, whether someone does or not, I cannot judge the reasoning behind their decisions. I can't do that. I don't know. I'm not privy to their conversation with God. But with a little God given discernment, with a little bit of conversation, I can easily figure out if they did it or not because of peer pressure, fear, or fear of listening to other voices instead of listening to the voice of Yeshua. So if someone asks me why I got the vaccine, the answer is simple. The Lord showed me to, for both me and my wife. So when people try to tell me that the vaccine is of the devil, I can't agree because the Lord will never confirm for me to do something that is of the devil. As I say, get rid of the noise and listen to his voice. Stay healthy.